And we have to see what they're going to be able to achieve now as we come into game number 2. A simpler to execute plan feels like the call here.
I mean, KC, they will grab themselves first pick, and they're going to look to take away Vi and Gwen with the Rumble now being banned on KOI's side. So both teams don't want that Rumble to be first picked. They're going to make sure that that is unavailable. And with both Orianna and Azir taken off the board, things like Ryze, Taliyah naturally rise in priority.
Maybe also the Gwen ban symbolizes maybe a Sion early here for someone like Canna, maybe a tank
potentially.
Top. You know, again, an engage tool that KC can use, because Canna was on a carry in that first game. Didn't really get to do much in the game. And maybe it's going back to being a role player.
Well, maybe the case, but honestly, I think that just going back to what has worked so far should be a decent call. I don't think you need to like drastically change things. Canna has looked best on carries. I think sticking them and keeping them to that game plan makes a lot of sense. And if you can try and continue to make these plays around bottom side, unlock Busio, I think that is good for KC. I think the way that they end up flexing that Varus was just not it in that game.
We saw a high priority on both junglers in the previous game. The Busio Bard is going to be taken off the board once more, and I wonder how valuable this Xin Zhao is. With first pick Yunara, I mean, Yunara's open. Do they want to grab that for Caliste right now? Or instead is something else the priority? It looks like that it's going to be the Ryze instead. So Ryze locked in for kyeahoo. I mean, we did talk about how Ryze and Taliyah rise in priority, to give the pun, but we've seen Dojo bring out the Cassio into this matchup before.
He's also brought out the Anivia as well.
Anivia, Ari, he's got plenty of champions that he's happy to play into this matchup. So that does, again, raise the priority on Yunara. Why would you not try and grab it? Alvaro, we've seen a bunch of Lulu from him, which I think has been pretty good for him when I think about the entirety of the Versus. And so they can play for hyper carry super, especially if this man is locked in today.
And if you end up going for a lot of the answers that we see into Yunara, like the Aphelios, that is also not great into the Anivia. Like, she wants to be playing into these short-range AD carries. Now the Lulu immediately taken as well. So it does open up again for a very strong bottom lane. But how do KC want to try and respond to it?
I mean, I'm still waiting for our supports in EU to just lock in the Blitzcrank against Lulu.
Yeah.
I think it's really effective, but with Nautilus bans, Thresh is another hook champion that you can be considerate of. Pyke is a possibility, but I don't love Pyke just because of the healing that the ultimate provides, or the extra health, I should say, that it provides. So let's see what direction they go in. Okay, the Ashe Seraphine.
Here we go.
Okay, so they're going to try and outrange them and provide that extra utility as KC lock in a comfort bot lane that they've shown. Well, I guess they haven't technically won on it yet.
Yeah.
Because yesterday it was GX that took it away from them.
Yep.
And then in the G2 matchup, they almost came back in that game, but they didn't quite bring out the victory.
Yeah, it was very close, but weren't able to make it work. So we'll have to see if they can this time around. It is a very strong bot lane, and definitely something that can outrange and look to poke towards the Lulu and the Yunara in the early stages. But there's that Xin Zhao you're talking about for Elyoya. Something that pairs very well with the Lulu, especially in those early skirmishes, thanks to the speed up, the shields, everything that works well. And we just have to see what Jojo wants to take, because dropping the Ryze answer to that second rotation means you can ban away the Cassiopeia, ban away the Anivia, and make things a little bit more uncomfortable for the MKOI mid laner.
I'm now thinking about Wukong jungle ban as a possibility. With Vi already taken off the board, you start to get quite deep into the pool. If they want to go a little bit more long-range, Jace is something they could take into consideration. Aatrox, like, basically you're worried about, we've seen how good Alvaro is at polymorphing basically anyone that tries to get onto his AD carry.
True.
So Nocturne is a pretty solid option because the spell shield can be used to mitigate that polymorph if you definitely have good reactions, but also it's just a pretty solid engage tool. And that Wukong is the other one that kind of comes to mind. Trundle is a possibility if they're worried about the matchup into Xin, but we haven't really been seeing a huge amount of Trundle in the recent in the meta.
Yeah, I do like it though when you've already got a lot of engage from your bottom side, and Trundle inevitably does well when he's got like the shields, the everything else, that the heals that will come through from the Seraphine. So I definitely think it is a good answer here. Just paired with everything that's already there, and another pillar to enable roots just works out well for Seraphine.
So you think we need kind of a bruiser in jungle, right? With this comp with Ashe Seraphine, because I was going to start thinking about Yike's Jace. I was going to start thinking about something that
That's
added
what I was
range.
also thinking about, yeah.
But I like your concern where you're saying Trundle, because not only just the dueling, but because also the pillar you talk about, Dagda, there needs to be some more CC in this comp to layer up with the Seraphine that we usually see in the follow-up.
But it's also just because a lot of what MKOI have is just we want to run at you. So things that prevent you from running at us is going to work out
like
relatively
a
well.
I guess, would be stopping that.
That does surprise me. I think Wukong will be the default answer here from KC, though. I think Wukong just does what the comp wants, where it scales nicely and it provides good team fighting. I like the bans we've kind of expected, Anivia plus Talia, both comfort champions for Jojo. He can now do something like an Ahri, or he can do a Cassio.
Cassio, yeah, you guys were talking about that.
Yeah, I think he'll probably be the Ahri in this situation. Just it pairs well with the Xin Zhao, and at least you've got some mobility, because I think that's the biggest struggle for MKOI here, is just the lack of, apart from Yunara when she ults, being able to close the distance effectively. Sure, Lulu can go for the early Shirelius, but still, okay, looks like it'll be the Aurora.
I mean, I think it does make sense. I consider Ryze relatively short range, and I think she can bully him really effectively in lane. Also, she just provides a huge amount of, well, teamfight damage, of course, with the sheer amount of burst that she does offer. I think that she just kind of fall off at a certain point, and against Ashe Seraphine, she might struggle. She can quite easily get poked out, but we'll see how much that ends up impacting her.
The Jax was the old school counter to Xin Zhao in the jungle matchup. Kind of hovered there, but not looks like it's going to be taken. Is going to be that Sion that you were talking about with that early Gwen ban.
Bruiser, yeah.
Hysterics.
Oh,
and I think it makes sense. I think you've got very strong team fights here, where you've got a ton of healing, shielding, speed ups, everything you kind of want for KC, and it's a much squishier version of MKOI. Feels like if they don't get that immediate win in the team fight, they're going to struggle as this war of attrition starts.
It's not exciting, we know at home. It'll take it off the board, but as Vedi said before, this fits into the comp nicely. We've been talking about it for the whole draft. There is an easy way to start fights. Zaahen gets locked in as the last champion. Now, Myrwn's going to be running that in the top lane here, as Aurora, of course, going to Jojo. So
Zaahen is inherently short-ranged. He likes champions that come into him.
Yes.
That's generally why I don't like him into Ashe Seraphine, just because I think they massively outrange him.
And Ryze can space so easily.
No, but I think into Ryze he's actually quite good.
You reckon?
Because the thing about Ryze is he is deceptively short-ranged. Like, they call him Machine Gun Ryze because he can dish out a bunch of damage really quickly with all the resets that he has access to, but he has to get quite close in order to do it.
That is a good point.
Also, the closer you are, the more reliably your skill shots land, which does make it easier for Zaahen to actually close that gap. If he runs things like Phase Rush, that can obviously make it harder for the Zaahen to stay in contact, but the idea is Wukong and Sion are coming into him, which is where a champion like Zaahen can build up his stacks, especially into a tank, and then when he gets those stacks, he can then really commit super deep, because his ability to regenerate in the fight can then offer another way for KOI to turn the fight to their favor.
My biggest worry, though, for MKOI is the kind of non-committal engage on KC's side. Like, they can walk up with Ashe, throw out a volley, try and hit with a Seraphine, and look, fish for a root. If it hits, great. Well, now Elyoya probably has to ult, or you have to pop an ultimate from Lulu, because there's going to be a lot of follow-up damage, whereas kind of the ease of backline access, I feel like on MKOI's side, just isn't quite there. As Vedi was saying, like, you're hoping that KC play into you, but as long as KC are kind of patient with the trigger and wait until they find their moments, I think they are in a relatively okay spot here. They just kind of play for kyeahoo on this Ryze to play as a follow-up rather than the immediate play.
Well, you got to hope, because in game one, it felt like they got outdrafted to the sense where the patience of MKOI took over. But here, KC need a game to get the ball rolling, because game one, I felt like it was a bit harsh on Caliste, but it felt like, even though KC were losing that game, there are a lot of missteps, not just by him, but individual members. They need to shape it up here in our top three to become top two. We only take the very best as we move into the second game.
I mean, you're right. Like, we hold them to standards, because right now, these two teams and G2 are fighting for a spot at First Stand.
We only get one.
International competition of the year. We only get one representative, and we hold these three teams to a very high standard because we want to see a strong representative. And it is KOI that came out swinging. Yes, KC did a fantastic job in the early game of reading their play, which we have to give them credit for, but it was KOI that outperformed them as the game continued. Now we jump into game two, a fresh reset, a clean slate. Let's see who can get that edge here in the early game, as junglers seem to be starting on opposite sides of the rift.
KOI. Nice trade from Canna, by the way, just while we are looking at top lane. But as you said, we've got Yike up in top. We'll be pathing towards that bot lane, seeing what he can do with the Ashe Seraphine, the early damage that comes out of this support. As you can see, a little bit addition there from Supa too. let's not forget as well, we've always talked about this lane. Ashe gets the auto down, Seraphine only has to drop the beat a single time with that E, and she'll get the stun because the target's already immobilized. So really nice. As we look at trading towards mid as well, and Jojo is just walking into kyeahoo. Hang on a minute, hang on a minute, hang on a minute, hang on a minute, flash away. kyeahoo gets a summoner out. He just walked at him menacingly.
kyeahoo making early plays happen. Jojo flashless now makes him significantly more vulnerable in this mid lane. Because even though Yike doesn't have CC, kyeahoo still has flash and set it up
and he hit
against
him
the
as
damage.
well. You're waiting, you're waiting, you're waiting, because again, kyeahoo just has the flash. He's now level 3. If Jojo walks back in, that is a flash rune prison into Q. He hasn't put any points in just yet, but kyeahoo now holds the lane.
Oh, kyeahoo, I mean, already getting the better of Jojo. I have been pleasantly surprised this weekend by kyeahoo. I think his laning phase has always been very solid, reliable, but let's be honest, he's been a bit of an Azir merchant this split. He's been playing an absolute ton of it, but in his series yesterday against GX, I thought that he was very solid. I thought he was able to make a lot of fantastic plays. I thought he worked very well with Busio in particular, and I think going up against Jojo, who we often credit as being one of, if not the best laner in the league, for him to be getting this kind of a lead here in game 2 is great to see from the KC mid laner.
Yeah, so often it just kind of defaults to Caps and Jojo as those kind of question marks, who's going to battle it out for the best laner when it comes into the mid lane. We heard Caps in interviews talking about how he really thought it was kyeahoo. He didn't, and also Poby. Like, it wasn't Jojo that he was really keeping his eye on. And kyeahoo off to a fantastic start here, proving that he does deserve to be in that conversation as Yike now sitting towards mid. This is what we're talking about. No flash on Jojo, no ward.
But his positioning in the lane is very good. Jojo hovering towards the top side. He's got the mobility with both his E and his W to move towards Elyoya should things start to get a little bit scary.
Well, it's going to be reciprocated. Elyoya's on the way in, and I know who I fear more going into the Wukong clone. It's Yike, but he's going to face check now. Bonks on the head, but Elyoya looking for the 3 Talon strike as he finds it on Yike. Wind becomes lightning, and Elyoya is winning this out handily, waiting for the audacious charge as Yike gets flashed on, gets autoed. He's one step away from being in the death as Wind becomes lightning again. All we need is Jojo to flash, but he doesn't have it. And walking away from the 2v2, no one dies.
There was nothing left in the tank for MKOI, but they put the herd onto KC. Yike having to flash away as he was the one that wanted to start that play.
I mean, once he'd committed into that brush, he kind of didn't really have any options to get out. And I think you're seeing the value of Zhao in this early skirmish. Wukong is a level 6 champ, Zhao is not. And that meant that KOI was able to come out ahead in that skirmish. Good coverage from Elyoya. And again, that was a great demonstration as well of your positioning in the lane is so important. Jojo deliberately hovering towards the top side of the lane so that should a gank come through, he can quickly retreat to the safety of his jungler, and he's able to work with Elyoya to get away to safety.
Elyoya is now making another path towards the bot lane. No wards here either. Map quite dark here in the early game, and KC, although they're in a good position, the tri-brush can be abused if Elyoya takes that extra step forward. Wave is pushing against KC, though, so timing might be a bit off.
I think this is more so than Supa and Alvaro can play aggressive on the wave, make sure that Caliste and Busio can't freeze. And essentially, it's Elyoya saying, I know Yike had to back. I now have a timing window where I can try and hover and shadow on this bottom side of the map, make sure that Supa and Alvaro aren't getting completely outmatched by this KC bottom lane, and now it can reset and go back onto the map. Still even, at least on the CS lead when it comes towards Yike.
They did also spot out. Pings went down. I think Hawkshot went out at the end of the recall from Elyoya, so Caliste spotted out everything he needs to know. Now they know his top side is between worlds. Jojo all in, but kyeahoo doesn't do anything. Jojo thought he could step up, and kyeahoo said no.
Jojo goes for the all-in, and kyeahoo just like, whatever, bro. I'm going to tank it. Come at me, and immediately shuts down the play, but there's the root.
There's a good root. In fact, the damage is going to follow as well. Alvaro's going to heal on up, and now out of pots. KC, that control the bot lane, goes forward, and the control of this early game once again is on KC's back.
You're echoing my thoughts exactly, Hysterics. The fact that KC are finding advantages, particularly through their mid lane. Like, when I think about this team, bot lane or top lane are where they build their early leads. So to be coming into this weekend and be having their mid laner build these leads is a surprise, to say the least, as kyeahoo has the ult available. They're threatening a dive.
With the Cyclone at the helm as well. Alvaro is one-shot. Supa's not far off it as well. They're level 5 each. Not even needing the Cyclone. Polymorph comes through, but caught against the turret. A double over to kyeahoo, and the Korean mid laner is gonna carry.
I mean, that tower aggro management was perfect as well. Busio standing at the very edge, tanked 2 tower shots, moves out of range, and then no more tower shots. Beautifully done. KC with a 1.8k gold lead.
And it's just off the back, as you say, Hysterics. kyeahoo finding success in the mid lane, filtering that into other parts of the map. And look at the CS lead there in that bottom side. Caliste got 2 assists, but it's a nearly 30 CS lead for the KC bottom lane.
And kyeahoo didn't miss anything there. Canna minion wave into the turret, bit of plating given over, but Jojo won't find a CS lead individually, so gold is near 1,000 here for the scaling Ryze. As you said, very well juggled bot.
Yeah, it was the fact that you already got that root onto Alvaro, got so much damage down. Busio immediately are going in for the setup. He just tanked the turret with an auto attack. It means when the realm warp comes through, there's nothing that you can do. And again, Yike having access to that bot side, Scuttlecraft gives him the level 6.
Caliste is going to face check though. He gets polymorphed. Can he get a shield to get on out of the way? Jens, I also noticed in that play, Ryze presses W, by the way. And then all Seraphine has to do is press her buttons again. So many different layers. The Seraphine champion integrate into the competition as Supa's running forward now, has level 6 Alvaro to ruin forward. It's going to be stunned up. Busio does good damage though. Polymorph back against the turret. Supa has to flush away for Busio. Matches it, sings a song, and it's a lullaby. 1 for 1 and support's the only thing standing with Busio. Wait, he's already picked up a double. This split alone, the import coming over from the stage is going to get another one. Busio above it all.
Yesterday it was double bubbles. Today it's double kills for the KC support. But Myrwn,
Myrwn goes back towards the wrong way. Canna has this in the bag as well. All Myrwn needs is the passive. Looking for the 3rd hit, knocks in the air. Myrwn has a GA now in his kit as he runs on down. And Yike's going to try and time this out. And time he does indeed have. A bonk, a hit, and KC are sure of it in game 2.
I can't believe I didn't notice this. Canna ran Ignite. He had Ignite into the matchup. I was like, how is Myrwn even in this position in the first place? And it's the fact that Canna had that aggressive summoner spell to trade back and mitigate that healing. He could not win the extended fight, but we've got to go all the way back to bot lane because Supa gets level 6 first. He knows that with his ultimate, he can win out the fight thanks to the cleanse. A good flash polymorph thinks that they can win out that trade, but then Busio's damage was enough to swing the fight in their favor.
And it looked a little bit dire for KC. A panic of the double ult meant that cleanse got so much value from Supa. But as you say, Vedi, the damage from Busio is there. And on the top side, the fight going through. Canna with some nice sidesteps on the W, the ult for the setup. And Myrwn, thanks to that Ignite, having to flash away. I am shocked that became this close.
I mean, yeah, you can see that in the longer the fight went, Myrwn was going to win out, but then Jungler was already on his way. And I mean, KC, what's that, 6 kills now? 6 kills to 1. Busio 2-0-2 in the bottom lane.
And the Dragon, and the 3 Void Groves because they just killed the top laner. KC, we were wondering if they'd come back in game number 2. I think we have our answer, gents.
Now for KC, another good early game, and coming back is so important here in the series, but they've got to keep developing this lead. Now bot lane is a bit of an issue, but Yike's here to cover. There is a ward in that brush, so it will be a 3v3 if this envelops.
kyeahoo is constantly shifting towards this bottom side of the map. You even see they've tried to put a deeper ward on MKOI's side, just in that tri-brush, but both junglers here, and now it's the Aurora moving.
Jojo's also walking down Dagda, good point there. Elyoya jumps on in, Wild Growth, fantastic encore, even better though. The Cyclone even mid, polymorph, doesn't matter. Yike pulled it out first, so it gets on off. Alvaro's running away because he knows the play is dead, and Yike sets up for 2 more.
They knew that Yike was there. They watched him move into that brush. They did not confirm whether he had left or not, and they still committed to that play. I have to question the decision-making from KOI there to force that 3v3 because whatever it was, it did not work out.
But it didn't have to be a 3v3. Jojo was moving.
Yeah.
Like, I think that was the wait for me. Look at Jojo on the minimap. But Elyoya tries to goes too early, and gives that moment to KC to turn this around. Because the entire time Yike is polymorphed, he's in Cyclone. He's getting value.
He still does it. He's a little snowman. spinning his wheel.
I mean, also, they lined up in a way to allow for Busio to get an easy two-man ult as well. I mean, the execution on that play was just a mess from KOI. KC extend their gold lead to 4K. Now, of course, what we saw in the previous game was KC made a mistake, KOI punished, and they came back into the game. And I'm not going to say that that possibility isn't real for KOI, but the way that this early game is playing out, KC is looking to bring us to a 1-1 scoreline already with this kind of early lead. Very
different early game. I was saying that before because it's like, okay, small gold lead, but this one is ginormous.
I mean, look at where the gold lead is as well. 1.5k for Caliste.
Look at where Myrwn is. He can't even get to his bot lane turret. 4 members of KC threatening, and MKOI are only running out of base.
They're just going to walk on in between worlds, but Yike is just going to turn this into a dive. Remember, Busio can heal up, poke down, and you're already seeing next wave Elyoya needs to come on in. Alvaro there as well, but Krug's already taken away. Yike is being a sneaky snake, trying to take away what he can from Elyoya's jungle.
It's Raptor's taken away, Krug's taken away, and if you're Yike, you just can move back into your own jungle, still stay in this bottom side, and keep this threat of a dive up. And Myrwn, what's happening, lads?
His Ignite is back up. That's what's happened. He's ready to go to war in the top lane. Yike is looking to secure even more camps. He has the smite available. He's going to steal away the red. I mean, things are looking up for KC. 2 dragons to 0, 3 grubs secured. Herald in about...
Dreaded return. He brings on the deliverance, but simply a grievance as Canna walks on away. Myrwn now has role quest completed. And it is the best lane right now for MKOI, even though Canna is dead even with CS.
Busio on the reset, though, is essentially predicting MKOI going to try and go for this topside invade because those camps were stolen. So Busio wants to just make sure he can cover his top laner and cover any sort of potential invade. So Elyoya gets a camp back, but there's nothing else on the map for him right now.
KC also dragon stacking. Just a side note that we talk about what Elyoya has on the map. Well, there's no objectives to fight over, to look for a pick over. KC aren't overstepping, and 3 minutes till the next Drake. 3rd Drake for KC. They've now moved Caliste and Busio around mid lane. And the problem is as well, no one ever talks about the fact that approaching an Ashe Seraphine is also quite difficult.
Absolutely.
They might be immobile. They might not have, you know, gap closers like Ezreal.
But they've got range.
They've got range.
And this is exactly what we were talking about in draft, where the thing about Zaahen and Aurora is they are relatively short-range champions. They prefer it when their opponents come into them, or if they have setup with which they can follow up. But what's their setup? Like, they've got a Zhao who can go in, and sure, he can, in theory, start a fight, but the only follow-up you're really going to get is...
Lulu.
Yeah.
And I don't want that Ryze anywhere close to me anymore. Who's in a good spot. When he hits Actualizer, I think it's just done. Like, I don't know how you're supposed to match the damage that kyeahoo has.
Well, Yike is continuing with his counter-jungle ways. That bot side of the map very much belongs to him. You can see that he's got a healthy camp advantage, a healthy gold advantage. Elyoya not too far behind in terms of experience, but right now the entire map is being run by KC. They've bounced back beautifully here in Game 2, looking to bring us an entertaining series. But we'll see if they can close it out, because with teams in Europe, as we often say, Hysterics, the game isn't done until the Nexus falls.
Yeah, I know. Been saying it all split long. It feels like it should be a song, the next one at that. But for MKOI, you know, finding a way back in this game would be a miracle. I do like we talked about the engage, so all the power right now to KC, especially, is that 3rd dragon spawning in minute 30. And Calista's got the B on as well as Herald, by the way, another spawn that's coming up in 10 seconds. So you can see KC are holding that pressure around topside river. MKOI seem like they want a soft contest, but they're going to have to use everything to get in the vicinity.
You don't really have the abilities MKOI to soft contest. If you go into any of these choke points against Busio, against Yike, you're just not having a good time. So for KC, you see they're more than happy to just immediately start up the objective. MKOI now trying to contest, but Busio's in a great position.
All right, the setup there. Elyoya gets a flash out of kyeahoo immediately, looking for the 3 tower strike, finds it. Yike still gets the Herald, though. The Smite King does it once more. Elyoya pops out the Crescent Guardian, now goes on to Caliste, but way too deep. Caliste kites it back to between worlds, does nothing, and kyeahoo jumps back in. Decimating smash, while kyeahoo is machine gun Kelly. Unleashes hell, and the double over to Caliste just cements that this is KC's game.
KOI's initiation looked so promising at the start. The fact that they had the numbers advantage, KC wasn't ready for that fight, and that they were getting good damage down, felt like that they were going to be able to win out on the fight. But, and this is a big but, kyeahoo ulted out! He was able to ult out on the Ryze as Yike was ulting the backline. So watch, 4 members in the pit, kyeahoo has to flash immediately. He's able to actually ult out of this situation to safety, and Yike disengages too. So then when the rest of KC regroup, now in the front to back, KOI have no tools left to fight against this KC squad.
Really well done by KC. And MKOI kind of tossed everything at that fight, hoping that maybe that could be the fight that brought them back into this game. Now with Mountain Dragon up, and MKOI being pushed out of their own jungle by 2 members of KC, this feels like KC's game.
This is just such a stomp, and it is great to see the recovery after the early game. In game 1 was so formidable, and then they just did nothing with the lead. Yike couldn't transition. This game, I could say the difference, the complete difference. kyeahoo, especially that roam early, has been great as they're trying to stop Myrwn from getting this tier 1 turret up in the top side, getting MKOI's first turret of this game. Outside of the kill, this is a flawless game so far.
That's a great comment follow-up. KC
yeah.
aren't afraid of Sjokz no more. I mean, they're definitely not being circled this time around. And I mean, I think this is what we all wanted. We wanted to see both these teams putting everything on the line, going toe-to-toe. And of course, KC still need to close this game out to bring us to a 1-on-1. But with the lead that they have, with the dragons that they have, with the objectives that they control, it feels like that this is a foregone conclusion.
I mean, your bot lane is up an entire item. Myrwn in a lot of trouble against.
And are you ready for the damage? Dreaded return, but Myrwn, I don't think he wants him that close.
I mean, he doesn't have the actualizer yet, so this is like baby
We're
Ryze.
17.5 minutes in, gentlemen.
Yeah, and 2 items.
2 items.
Yeah. Both carries.
Like that Rod of Ages hasn't even finished stacking yet, so...
True.
Excuse me, what is this? Why is there...
Dagda, what are you pointing at? Arrow goes down.
That's not a tank. That's not the item that I was expecting to go.
Maybe he just goes Overlords early, you know? Carter's probably chill. I mean, 770 stacks of the W passive as kyeahoo gets his top lane turret.
Yeah, I thought the boss wasn't here anymore.
No. Someone's got to keep it alive.
Oh my god, Yike. Come on, man, give him a camp. He's stealing away his Gromp as well, straight in front of his face. Baron in a minute 40. KOI already running out of options. I mean, your attention would turn to a player like Supa. We know that with this Yunara-Lulu combo, it can be a force once it has the items. Unfortunately, those 3 daggers don't quite constitute an item, and I do not think that he will have the damage that can really compare against this Ashe, who's already picked up that PF sword on top of 2 completed items.
Probably ever at this point as well. It's a mid push. It's without a turret. It's the power of KC right now, willing to face check. A Seraphine walked into a Xin Zhao and nothing happened. It just shows you the state of the game, and this is our lower bracket finals, but I mean, these games are completely different. The adaptation under pressure has been brilliant from KC as this mid turret's going to fall, Inner's going to go down. Look at kyeahoo pressure in the bot lane at the same time. This charge won't be the last. A decimating smash after the onslaught. The Battle Herald not needed. He gets a charge on the inhibitor turret instead. And meanwhile, MKOI finally get the topside turret while KC are burning the rest of the house down.
KC are just taking everything that they want. As you say, MKOI get top, but it's your mid lane inhibitor turret exceptionally low. Another push will take that down. You've got to try and fight a Mountain Dragon in 2 minutes. Baron is about to spawn. And this Seraphine got 2 early kills, so she's scaling. This is insane.
Because the Elyoya already picked up. I mean, that was a while ago, but we might just get ourselves 2.5 item Seraphine before this game ends. I do feel, though, we are in the home stretch of the next 5 to 10 minutes. One more fight. It'll lead to Baron, it'll lead to the base. And it will be one of the most dominant victories if KC can keep up this pace that we've seen over this entire split. Outside of G2, I will say, is...
I mean, the thing they have to be cautious of is Baron. What we do know is, with the lead that they have, a single Baron would probably be enough to end the game. But it's also the easiest way to throw a game. KOI, if they could win a fight, or even if they don't get the Baron, but they get a bunch of kills around the Baron, it can do a lot to just stall the game out and give them opportunities as Myrwn going for a bit of a scrap.
He is face checking against the Ryze. I don't know about that. He's looking for his passive up and available. Good cutting away. His overload was there, ready to channel in, and kyeahoo in the 1v1 is just going to take some plating as well. He walks at Myrwn menacingly, and Yike's also hovering just in case Myrwn stays.
More gold for kyeahoo. Level 15 now secured. We have to imagine that the actualizer is going to be worked on next, as the dragon is a minute away. KC don't need to overplay anything. They can take their time, they can play it slow, and they just need to wait for that objective. Resets should very much come through soon. Clear out some vision that you can, refresh those wards, and you can already see, just as I said, Busio already back out on the map, replenished wards, control wards, with wards aplenty, ready to set up for this Dragon Soul 40 seconds away.
And Yike again just trying to steal away camps, trying to put as much pressure so Alvaro can't actually get into a position to contest that vision that has already been placed. Actualizer completed from kyeahoo as he TPs back into bot lane. That was all that KC were waiting for.
Also, Titanic picked up for Canna as well. So we get that tunneler into a full item. The Sion who played weak side, who was the only one not channeling so much gold above his counterpart, as KC in river first. MKOI going to approach. Canna willing to face check, cares not. Again, he won't take damage. The arrow connects on Elyoya. He's got the Crescent Guard out early for the beat drop. Gets a double up and now sent into the sky. Not much was burned there. The arrow has a low cooldown. As teleport going to be burned. MKOI trying to bring in the cavalry. This is Jojo walking into position. Decimating smash. A zone. They can't get through. MKOI trying to walk towards Canna. As Dragon slowly getting whittled down for patience. Is the game of KC here. As Cliff starts ordering it at 3k. Needs to be stolen. Elyoya needs it big, but he won't find it. Sands up. Cyclone in the way. And Myrwn won't even get to play. A double down, and KC can just start the Dragon again.
MKOI knew they needed a miracle, but KC would not let them have it. KC find the fight, and they might look for more.
Look at the angle from Canna. He's got an angle of a dream. Alvaro dead in one shot. Elyoya over for the steal, but Yike owns the League of Smite. You can't take that away from him.
KC play the Dragon so clean. They don't give KOI the opportunity to steal it away. They commit to the team fight. They obliterate Jojo. Myrwn gets a very nice 5-man ulti off, but unfortunately they're so far behind in gold that it does not matter. We'll go look back at the fight and you see they don't waste time. They just go for the engage. Flash in from Yike, 3-man ulti. Good onto the backline from Myrwn, but a flash away from Caliste. Zones him away, and it ends up being a double. Elyoya does his best to try and steal away the Dragon, but as you said, Hysterics, Yike just doesn't lose those smite fights. And now they'll get the Baron on top of the Soul, and it looks like we're going to game 3 with the...
Oh, okay. Hang on a minute.
Hang on a minute.
This is juicy drama. Everyone, calm down.
Calm down, lads. Hold on now.
Hey. You said it, I'll make you stop it. Get your hands off the keyboard. We're going to find out what happened.
Looks like it's a potential audio issue.
As KC started it, and I think honestly, with the position I'm in as KC in this game, I play without sound. I'm like, you know what, we're good.
I'll take the headset off.
You know, it's fine. But I think from this position, like, this game is essentially unlosable for KC. You're 11k gold up. You now have Baron. You're only about to start your Baron push. And all of the mid lane tower is already super low. Bot lane tower was already, bot lane tier 2 was already taken.
Here we go.
It just feels like for MKOI, they just got completely outmatched in this game.
Oh, absolutely. And like a lot, like it's easy to put it down to the draft, but here's the reality. kyeahoo stomped Jojo.
Yeah.
He just straight up stomped, and then he used his lead on the map.
He literally didn't stop. He didn't move his feet. He just stood. He didn't need to stomp anywhere. He was just like, all right, just come at me. I got this.
His roams were always really impactful, and then Yike utilized the pressure he had mid to put that pressure onto Elyoya.
Oh.
Meanwhile, Canna just, well, he stayed top lane. That's what, but he did what he needed to do.
Jungle diff. I mean, this game, Yike has had a pivotal role, but I mean, shout out to kyeahoo. What a game from him as well. As we're saying, highlighting playoffs right now for this mid laner who has been decent, but has been outshone by people like Jojo, by people like Caps, by our top mids in our league. And we're asking, okay, when's this mid laner that they purposely brought in? When's he going to step up and act like a first seed jungler? I think we're getting some of the results here in this game as KC start using the Baron to crumble
laner,
what's
right?
left.
First tier mid laner.
There we go. Thank you very much for the correction as Canna runs into Jojo. Now, he can't follow that one. The rabbit is out for now, but the rest of KC are breaking apart the structures.
Yeah, MKOI need to pull it out of the house as the siege begins for KC on this top side. This tower is not going to be long for this world, and kyeahoo happy to play frontline here.
Myrwn, he's happy to take a ward, but he'll cost half his life for it. But slowly but surely, the Canna minion does the work, and the next wave is on the way.
I mean, they quite don't have the wave clear. They don't have the gold. We're not even 25 minutes in, and KC are dominating here in game 2. Another tower is soon to fall, as that inhibitor is going to fall with it.
Realm Warp in, bringing only one, but it's to the bot lane to break down another structure with the rest of this Baron. A man in the crowd dressed as a banana, giving energy to Yikes, a monkey here in the second game. Because with one engage, you can end it all. MKOI struggling to defend. Their wave clear not there with a deflated 80 carry. This inhibitor soon to fall. Top's already gone. Mid's gone. Next wave in. Baron has 55 seconds. The final push. And MKOI get arrowed to start it off. Canna melee ulti's in. KC are getting no noise from the audience. But as Caliste said yesterday, he thrives on this. Hate him if you will. He'll take it in and blow you to pieces.